inviting the stakeholders for a sitting and a discussion for us to identify where the problem is coming from. Because don't forget that in all of this, we have also expended much scarce national resources to get these persons trained as teachers. And it is our hope that they will be able to render much needed services to the nation by practicing their profession. So when they have gone through all the processes and they fail a licensure exam, that is also a drain on the national purse. It denies the nation of a much needed and hardly sought after professional group.
Yeah, I mean, but Dr. Park, you admit, won't you, that it's better to, even after you spend the money on them, our taxpayers' money on them, to stop this teacher, for example, whose answer we just read out, from getting into the classroom and teaching your child or mine, than saying because you spend money on him or her, well, let him go in there so that we can recoup part of the money back.
No, Evans, that's not the argument I am making. I mean, clearly, in every exam, it is the case that some people would not make it for all kinds of reasons. Some may not just be fit for purpose, as in the case that you have cited, that Maxwell just tried with all difficulty to read. But to have 80% fail, certainly something is wrong somewhere. Look, I heard the administrator of the NTC, Dr. Ade. There are issues, general issues about quality. And he would admit that, in fact, the last time that, he appeared as part of heads of agencies before the Parliamentary Subcommittee on Education to justify their budget for the current year, they had even proposed that Parliament grants them approval for some 7 million Ghana cedis to institute an entrance exam into training colleges. So that in itself told people like me that there are some serious challenges. So what I'm saying is this: let's use this as the segue, or if you like, the springboard, to bring all the stakeholders into one space and take a critical look about how we train our teachers from the very beginning to when they even write the licensure exam, so that we can address the issues to ensure that we get value for money. I am not by any way suggesting that if a teacher, purportedly so, cannot even write a simple sentence, cannot even spell headmaster, should be given permission to go and teach our words in the classroom. Certainly not.
Dr. Clement Park, thank you very much. And he's a member on the Education Committee in Parliament. And sincere apologies for our inability to hold ourselves when we read out that answer from one of the prospective teachers. And many of you have joined us with your thoughts on what you've heard. It's such a serious matter that many of you are concerned because your children are in school. Before the licensure exams, you need to ask yourself what was happening. How did the system pick up some of the challenges that we've just illustrated? What are people saying?
Messages flooding our timelines, and this one says NTC must be investigated thoroughly. The answer script in circulation is fictitious, just to cover up. Let them provide the name and details of the candidate. That's Prof. Tema, that's Professor in Tema, doubting that particular letter in the report put out by the, national. That's the NTC. And then this one, protocol admission produced this kind of results from the colleges of education. And then also this one says, so the English speaking can tell that the system is not the best. And we have more of your messages. And this one also says, don't be surprised that the politicians can fail people in order to employ their own persons. Ask them why. Is it that up to now, the promotion exams that we wrote since March is yet to be released? Kuma from Soga sent that one in. And then this one also says, the so-called sandwich program are damaging the education system. How can a teacher write this and expect to pass? Decentralization of learning centers have to be blamed. Chiefs and community leaders are having hands in who passes and who should not be passed. And that's some messages there. And this one also says the former deputy minority chief whip, what he has said is totally true. Senna is talking about Mutaka Mubarak's interview that we're yet to air. And this one also says A. Is this what a teacher wrote?
A. This is
A. Is this what a teacher wrote? That's from Yayawa. And this one from Kofi Sedu says, those teachers who wrote the licensure exams this year are the product of free SHS. Interesting. And this one from Prince Herring Koforidua says, my message, okay, so it's way down there. I push it. My only message to the supposed failed teachers and those who are yet to write the licensure examination is they shouldn't lose hope. And okay, and then what's the basic school teachers need are textbooks, motivation and supervision, not licensure exams. And he has a Bible quote at the bottom for them. And then also, if the said teachers did not pass the licensure exams, then how did they pass at the university? I think they should rather tackle it at the university level. Lambong from Bogatanga. Many more of your messages. Please keep them coming in.
So listen to Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. And George Afe is here with more from the world of business. And I need to share this experience where I went to Saito. I went to government school, somewhere in Dabraka. And we had an English teacher in the school who, each time you walk in and you speak vernacular, he will shout out to you to speak English. But he will do so in Twi. Right? So you go to school, she catches you speaking vernacular, and the first thing she says is, you know, and she's trying to teach you and instruct you to speak English, but she's doing so in Twi. But that is just an example of what is happening, and this is what is designed to try and, you know, catch that early. George, you went to a fabulous school, and you and MFR Power, so you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Not necessarily, but I think that whilst you want to blame some of these individuals, also there's a systemic thing we need to look at. In certain schools, if you have, or even universities, where you have more than 10% of your students failing, then it could be the lecture, the teacher, the teaching modules, the system. So I don't think that you want to reduce this thing to individuals or protocol, but if you have this 80% of persons failing, then it has to be a systemic issue that we need to look at and address, and not pin it down to someone not being good or somebody was passed because he went through a protocol system. And we think we have to look at the whole system and look what we can do about that one events. Well, coming up in business, manufacturing firms want government to use mid-year budget review to speed up work on stalled infrastructure projects to aid productivity and economic recovery. And economist Dr. Sam Mensah downplays any negative impact on Ghana's relationship with rating agencies following President Akufo-Addo's comment about their work. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Alliance Live and Ghana Pay.
Isn't life wonderful when everything worth doing is scheduled? Hitting the stop button on your alarm just in time for your morning jog. That happy moment listening to your baby's heartbeat at the doctor's office. Or an arranged virtual meeting with that big client.
Buy airtime ahead of time with scheduled airtime service on MTN Momo. You can schedule your airtime purchase of any amount, daily, weekly, or monthly by dialing *170# option 3 and follow the process. Or simply dial *170*311# for a superb airtime purchase experience. You enjoy 100% bonus airtime anytime.
government to use the mid-year review of budget estimates to speed up work on stalled infrastructure projects. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is expected to review the estimates in the 2023 budget before the end of next month. Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries, Sir Chuma Kwabwa, tells Joy Business these sectors need some attention to aid productivity in the country.
Between the Barco roundabout in Tema and Tamawa Refinery and beyond, very terrible road. Some work started today, it's come to a halt. That's a typical industrial area you don't want to leave even for a day. But unfortunately, it's come to a halt. And several others. So those ones that is linked directly to your production, we have to get it fixed. And then when it comes to support for industry, there are several areas that we are expecting a lot more funds to be pushed. Export, for example, is key at this time. We have the one district, one factory. Government is talking of industrialization. Everybody is acknowledging that. And we speak for industries, therefore we have to hammer that. Today, we just started establishing export trade houses. We need resources to be able to do that. So we are very keen on monitoring the budget, and I think that if we get it right, it will help gradually improve the situation. Bear in mind that the private sector is also still waiting, so the direction which we would get from the midterm budget review will inform a lot of investment decisions. If we get it right, the investment will come.
Sir Chuma Kwabwa is the chief executive of the Association of Ghana Industries. Meanwhile, some have argued that due to the current economic challenges and the IMF program, there is a likelihood that there will be a total review of the 2023 budget. Others have argued that government could look at the supplementary budget presentation by the finance minister. Financial economist Dr. Sam Mensah is downplaying any negative impact on Ghana's relations with the international rating agencies. It's coming after President Akufo-Addo, in his recent comments, described their past verdicts on the agency about Ghana as reckless during the COVID-19 period. But Dr. Sam Mensah tells Joy Business these institutions are very professional, even though they are contracted by government to do these assessments.
I think the rating agencies will continue to do their work, and their work is to certify the credit quality of an issue coming to the market. In many countries, including the United States got downgraded in 2011, and the UK got downgraded, I believe, in 2023 by S&P. So they will continue to do their work. I don't think they will be deterred by any such comment.
Financial economist and executive chairman of SEM Group, Dr. Sam Mensah. Now, managing director of Zenith Bank Ghana, Henry Owujigbo, is optimistic of the banking sector picking up strongly post-COVID-19. The Zenith Bank boss was speaking to Joy Business after the bank undertook a health walk through the principal streets of Accra. He said the walk is to provide them an opportunity with some key stakeholders in the banking sector to deliberate on customers' needs post the COVID-19 pandemic.
2019 was the last time we had a health walk, and people have passed through a lot. We know what COVID brought into the global environment. And after that, the economic turmoil just came in. People are passing through so much stress. We believe that is a time for us to shake off those weights, for people to actually put off so much of those stress. And that's what we intended to achieve. And I'm very happy. You can see the mammoth crowd. Everybody bought in. Everybody appreciated it. Customers bought into it. Our staff bought into it. Our board bought into it. And even other banks.
Managing Director of Zenith Bank Ghana, Henry Owuzu. Now, Consumer Protection Agency has vowed to ensure that the consumer bill is passed before the end of this year. The agency argues that customers have been shortchanged for far too long, hence the need to speed up the process for the smooth passage of the bill to protect and ensure the safety of consumers in the country. Chief Executive of the agency, Kofi Kapito, spoke to Joy Business at the Consumer Forum on the passage of the bill.
Bill is in the bosom of the Ministry of Trade. It's the Trade Ministry that should facilitate this. The Attorney General will only put the law together, and then Parliament will debate on it and pass. So we have to start from the Ministry of Trade. Yes, I've engaged them. Like I said, the caretaker minister even was in Parliament to promote the passage of the bill. If you have a minister on the floor of Parliament saying that, it gives you hope that it's very possible that the bill will be passed. If the law is good for us, we should ask them how come they are not pushing for the bill to pass. So basically, hopefully, before the end of the year, but I'm hoping that even if it's next year, it can be one of the bills.
Chief Executive of the Consumer Protection Agency, Kofi Kapito. Now, Ghana and other of some African countries were able to build some resilience against the negative impact of COVID-19 on the global economy. Now, this was captured in the AfriExim 2023 Africa Trade Report that was released in Accra today. The report showed that Ghana and some other African countries were able to build some strong resilience to moderately grow the economies compared to other developed economies around the world. Chief Economist at AfriExim, Dr. Hipofoko, has also been giving us more details about this report.
What is quite interesting is that under that challenging global environment accelerations, we actually saw growth resilience within the African continent, with really African growth expanding by African GDP, expanding by almost 4%, way above the world average of 3.4%. In the trade space, there was sharp deceleration from 10% growth last year to just about 2.7% in 2022. Within the African context, we saw, on the other hand, quite an expansion of African trade, growing by more than 20% last year, unlike global trade.
The report showed that the value of intra-Africa trade reached $193 billion, growing by over 18% for last year. So the stock market, Cowbank was the only gainer at the end of trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Was up by 3 pesos and is now worth 59 pesos. And that's all for business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, George. And Ms. Bao is here with sports.
Well, yeah, even so, ahead of the first game at the Under-23 AFCON on Sunday, June 25, against Congo, the Black Meteors intensified preparation with an emphatic 4-1 victory over Egyptian giant Zamalek in a friendly in Cairo. It was the team's second friendly game after drawing 1-1 against Egypt Under-23, who are the reigning champions. My colleague Lawrence Baidu has the full report on that game.
Ibrahim Tanko's boys faced the Egyptian Premier League side less than a week after playing out a 1-1 draw against the Pharaohs. Emmanuel Yeboah handed Ghana a dream start to the game after scoring in the opening 10 minutes of the fixture at the Zamalek Sports Complex. The home team grabbed the equalizer in the 16th minute to cut short the Ghanaian celebrations. The Cluj forward struck once again 9 minutes after the equalizer to restore Ghana's lead before completing his hat-trick in the 41st minute. Ghana's fourth goal of the game came through Godwin Bento to give the Black Meteors a 3-goal lead. Salford United goalkeeper Jordan Emisa made a stunning save just before the break, saving from the penalty spot to keep the score at 4-1. No goals were recorded in the second 45 minutes of the clash as the Black Meteors finished their campaign in Egypt with an emphatic win. The team is set to leave for Morocco on June 21 before facing Congo in their opening game at the U23 AFCON on Sunday, June 25. Ghana is drawn in Group A alongside tournament host Morocco, Guinea and Congo.
Lawrence Baidu with our report. And even news coming in is that former Black Stars captain Asamoah Gyan has officially retired from football and released that in a statement. That's it for sports, brought to you by Pepsodent Herbal and Chaco Pepsodent. Every smile matters.
Oh, we wish him well. You're still live here on Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. MFI, you know that in the lead up to this campaign that we've seen in the both the NPP and the NDC, one of the key conversations have been abuse of power and abuse of office. Well, the Vice President, Dr. Ubawamia, who picked his forms and filed last week, Friday, is now beginning his campaign tours, and he's decided to do something different on this. He's choosing to park his official vehicles and join his campaign team in a bus as he embarks on a tour of various constituencies in the Greater Accra region. Listen to his spokesperson, Dr. Gideon Boako, who explained why.
You know, in the first place, this is a private campaign of the Vice President. And so he doesn't want to abuse the incumbency. And so he decided that for this private political campaign, he's not going to use state resources. So he has his own set of vehicles. But what is important is that he could have, afforded to use V8s or whatever. But he thinks that in order to be frugal and also show that he's a leader that is prepared to, put to proper use the resources that he has. he decided to go for this bus. So all the team members are in the bus. We go with the bus, and then when he finishes also, he uses the bus to go to wherever he wants to go. So remember, even as he's operating as vice president, a couple of times he goes to so many places and he uses buses. Because we know that we are not in normal times. Things have happened to the global economy. People are not having life the way they're supposed to have. So as leaders, you must also show leadership and lead by example.
So that's Dr. Gideon Buako, spokesperson to the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Well, we have a report also, and the Joy News research has uncovered how agents of the opposition NDC took advantage of the NPP's broken promises to brand Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as a liar. The investigation by the research desk established there were organic public sentiments that Dr. Bawumia had broken many promises, but the NDC took advantage of it. The coordinated sharing of hashtag Bawulaya tweets by 28 accounts using the copy-paste technique shows an aggressive move to exaggerate and entrench the liar narrative. There's more in this report.
And that is why I am offering myself in all humility to contest in the primary of this phenomenal party.
When Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia formally announced his decision to run for president, the hashtag Bawulaya popped up in Ghana's Twitter trends. It was not the first time it had trended. As of March 2023, over 1,110 Twitter users had used it, created 24 million impressions, and reached over 5.69 million people. We identified Twitter user @SamiJemfi_ as the second most influential account in respect of the Bawulaya trend. The top 3 tweets were by @SamiJemfi_. The most popular tweet was @SamiJemfi's reaction to Dr. Bawumia's claim that Ghanaians could use the Ghana card as a travel document instead of a passport. The said tweet described Dr. Bawumia to be allergic to the truth, with lies being embedded in his DNA. It garnered 171 retweets and 727 likes. We also identified Twitter account with username @AnanPerry as the most influential account in respect of the hashtag Bawulaya narrative. The account used the hashtag 97 times. @AnanPerry identifies himself as a youth activist of the opposition National Democratic Congress. The framing of the vice president as a liar appears to have gained some ground. Dr. Bawumia's photos dominate the image tab upon a Google search for who is the biggest liar in Africa. This could be the result of Google bombing, a technique where a website is pushed to rank highly for irrelevant or off-topic search terms by amassing lots of connection to it, similar to how Donald Trump was linked to the word idiot in 2018.
And that's how we wrap up today's edition of Newsnight. Before we go, though, National Science and Maths quiz and Tolon SHS has managed to pull some surprises.
One of the contestants in tears. What is going through your mind at the moment?
I'm very, very grateful. I'm mighty excited. And I want to say a very, very big thank you to Tolon in High School for what they have contributed into my life.
Wow. Even though they've qualified, but
move to tears there. That's what victory can do to you sometimes. And that's it for Newsnight. Tonight, my name is Evans Mensah.
I am MFA Power, and the geeks are up next. What are we talking about, Spiky?
So, creatives are really undervalued when it comes to, in our sector. Graphic designers, videographers. Okay. When people give them work to do, they're like, oh, this one you just click 3 times and then it has happened. Yeah. So we're going to talk to them, about them, about what
and
they
how
do.
people don't pay them
how
and
people
all
don't
that.
pay them what they deserve.
They're like, you're just...
just click, and everything will happen. Oh, just do this small thing for me.
You don't know the thinking that goes into it.
It's not small.
We'll wait for that.